Hello everyone, I am Arindam Das on behalf of BM Birla Heart Research Center. Welcome you for an informative and interactive session with Dr. Anil Mishra, Director Department of Cardiology, about a recent advancement in pacemaker. Dr. Mishra has a wide experience in cardiology and has performed more than 1 lakh coronary angiograms, more than 30,000 coronary angioplasties and stenting, more than 3,000 pacemakers and other cardiac device implantation. He has special interest in complex angioplasties, pacemaker, CRTD, AICD and TEL. Thank you so much, sir,
Hello.
for your valuable time for the session. Sir, please.
Right, welcome you all. A very good afternoon to you all. We have a lot of advances in the field of cardiology over the last decade or so. But today, I'm not going to talk about interventional cardiology as we see in coronary arteries, but I'm going to talk something different. It's about what is the advancement in the case of pacemakers. Now, we do keep on hearing a lot of things about how angioplasties have progressed over the last 2 decades, how newer stents have come, how they're getting well refined, how bioabsorbable stents have come. But today it's a totally different topic. It's about pacemakers, which you do not hear a lot about. You hear a lot about normal pacemakers, but today I'm going to talk about a leadless pacemaker, which is the latest advancements what we have been implanting at BM Birla Heart Research Center as well. Now, just to say,
my first question is, sir, what are the recent advancement in pacemaker implantation?
so as I say, standard size of the pacemakers have been coming down over decades, and they have reached now a more or less a standard size, which is approximately this size for the pacemakers. When they implant, you connect it to a lead, and it is implanted by giving an incision here under the skin in the subcutaneous tissue. And there's a lead which enters the vein and connects and goes inside to the heart and paces the apex of the heart. That is where the electrical impulse is delivered. Now, this is a standard pacemaker system, and yes, in the standard pacemaker systems, there have been a lot of advances over decades. They have become more sophisticated. They have a lot of automatic features. They can detect a lot of rhythm disturbances or fluid overload in the body and can give you warning, etc. They can now communicate wirelessly with the external devices as well. And of course, you have a rate response built in for a long time, and they have become MRI safe as well. So these things have been around for almost a decade now. But one major paradigm shift has been change in the pacemaker concept. Compared to this standard pacemaker, which is implanted in the pectoral region under the skin, look at the smallest pacemaker available now. This is the smallest pacemaker available. You can see how small it is. This is implanted inside the heart, which means you do not have any lead to connect to, and it goes directly inside the heart. And this is all without any surgery, not even a cut here, just a small puncture through the groin as we do in an angiography, a little bigger puncture, and through that we implant within 20 to 30 minutes. It's implanted and you're done with. Now, this is a major breakthrough in the pacemaker technology which has happened in the last few years.
Okay, sir. Sir, who requires a leadless pacemaker?
I mean, normally this leadless pacemaker, which is so tiny, can be implanted for anybody who requires a single chamber pacemaker or other pacemakers. Traditionally, where we have been implanting a single chamber pacemaker, which goes via lead and connects to the heart. So all of those people can have it. But it is particularly useful in people who have no venous access. Suppose they've had a vein clotted off here, blocked off. They had a permanent pacemaker on the other side. The vein is now blocked off. You need to do something new. You have no access to the heart through the vein, or you have had an infection in the pacemaker on this side, then somebody implanted on the other side and that also got infected. So you now have bilateral infected sites where you will not be able to put a fresh pacemaker immediately. In these cases particularly, you can go with this. And of course, people who have a lot of comorbidities, those who are at a high risk of having problems with pacemaker implantation or high risk of having infection with that, in them you could just go very smoothly through the groin and implant this pacemaker inside the heart. So these are the particular cases. Most commonly it would be atrial fibrillation. People who require pacemaker and are in atrial fibrillation would get a normally VVIR pacemaker, and that is where it is most useful. But any other indication, as in a sick sinus syndrome or complete AV block, where people have sedentary lifestyle, they have a short longevity of life, not too long than 5-10 years, There you can easily implant this and they can cope without having a dual chamber pacemaker with this pacemaker as well.
Okay, sir. So tell me, sir, how it is implanted?
Well, implanted goes through the groin. We make it like an angiography. We go through the artery, the arm or the groin, and take a catheter down towards the heart and inject dye and take pictures. Here we take similarly a delivery system in which this is inside the delivery system, and this goes inside the heart at the apex of the heart, and there we deploy it. There are tines here. You can see very tiny tines here. These tines will go into the heart muscle and hold it there, and they have even 2 of the 4 tines. If they go inside the heart muscle, that will hold it. There's a 15 times more power to hold it in place than a normal power required to hold it in place. So once it is in place, you would check it with a device. You place it on the chest. Wirelessly, you check the parameters. Is it able to sense the heart's activity adequately? Is it able to pace the heart at the small current, which means you don't want to drain out the battery by giving large current and pacing the heart. So if the threshold, what we call, of pacing is small, so that it uses very small amount of energy to pace the heart, we check that. If those two are satisfactory, we also check the stability of the device, because once we deploy it, it is still connected by a thread to the outside. We can pull it and see whether it's well anchored, whether the tines which are there are splaying well or not. Once they splay well, we know they're well anchored. And when we are happy, we just cut the string and take it, pull it out, and so that leaves the device in there. So very simple process. This is not requiring any surgeon. It does not require any anesthetist. We cardiologists do it, and we go through the groin and implant it. It takes anything, on average time is about 30 to 40 minutes, not more than that. And the major advantage is you do not have any scars. There's no cut, no bugs, no leads to deal with. And that is a major advantage, because pacemakers will have 8 to 10% of them will have some sort of complication related to the lead, which means lead may get dislodged, lead may have fracture of the insulation, lead may have a metallic conduction which can be fractured as well, lead can have other problems. The pocket what we create to put this device, the big device in, this device in, the pocket what we create, what is the pacemaker pocket, that can get infection, that can get a hematoma, and sometimes the device erodes through the skin and comes out over a number of years. All these problems related to the pocket and the lead are gone. They are zero in this case, because there is no lead, there is no pocket.
Okay, sir. So, sir, how long does it last, a pacemaker, sir?
Well, one would imagine that this pacemaker will last on average for around 10 years, may last sometimes for 11, 12, sometimes for 8, 9. How much would this last? One would think the battery in this is very small. But the trials have now shown the amount of thresholds, the good thresholds you receive, this would last for almost 12.5 years. So that is a pretty good for anyone who can have the pacemaker, 12.5 years. And if you run out of battery, the major advantage is you can switch it off. You may be able to take it off. We don't know yet for sure whether you will be able to take it off. Even if we don't take it off, because the volume of this is 0.8 cc. It consumes a very little small portion in the right ventricle. You can implant another one. You can implant a third one. And there are cases where up to 5 have been implanted inside the heart. So even if you are, say, 50 years old, you can implant one which will last for 55 years, 52 years. So you can have another implant, you can have a third implant, and so on and so forth.
Okay, sir. Tell me, sir, do's and don'ts after leadless pacemaker implantations.
The pacemaker itself, fortunately, these pacemakers can also be, because pacemakers do not take very kindly to magnetic fields. So if you go near strong magnetic fields, normal pacemakers have a malfunction, and the pacing parameters may go haywire. The patient may not have adequate pacing and may collapse even. So therefore, MRI is usually not allowed when you have a normal pacemaker. But now we have, even normal pacemakers have become MRI safe. So whenever you're going for MRI, you can have the MRI mode switched on so that you can have it. But this is also MRI safe. You can have up to 3 Tesla MRI of the whole body anywhere safely. So it can be programmed to that mode. Also, we have to take care that these kind of devices, like for a normal pacemaker, you do not go near very high voltage electrical field, which will have a magnetic field. So somewhere where 50,000 volts near a transformer, try not to go within 6 feet of that transformer, because they have a magnetic field. unless you have switched off the MRI mode. You do not want to go there closely. It may interfere with that. But normal activities, like people often ask this question, oh, can I switch on the light? Yes, of course you can switch on the light. You can do that with normal pacemakers as well. You can do with a Micra, which is a very small leadless pacemaker as well. So you can switch on the lights, you can switch on the television, you can change the channels, you can use the phones. One of the limitations of these standard phones, these pacemakers, are if it's on the left side, if you are using your cell phone on the left side, it is very close to this device. So we may suggest you use on the other side, otherwise there will be electromagnetic interference. But in this, there is no question, because this is well inside the heart. Even if you talk this side or that side, hardly makes a difference. It's well inside the heart, well away from the magnetic field. You can use microwave ovens, of course, and you can also do all other normal activities which you would be allowed to do with a pacemaker. So fair enough that there's no great deal of restriction. People often are fearing that after the pacemaker, I will not be able to do this, I will not be able to do that. There's a lot of them is hearsay. They have no really facts behind them. We will allow patient to do everything possible what they want to do with this pacemaker inside. And since it's a moving heart and this pacemaker is well anchored inside it, there were no restriction of activities in the early days. Like after a normal pacemaker here, we would say don't move the arm up or don't take your arm behind, do not exercise for 2-3 weeks, etc. With this, no restrictions, because this is inside a moving heart. It has no restriction of movements or anything. You can bathe immediately, no restriction of bathing, and there is no scar, no bulge, nothing. So from externally, you will never know that somebody had a leadless pacemaker, because there's no marks there and there's no scar or bulge, which is often seen with the pacemaker when we implant the standard pacemakers.
So you can ask any question, okay, during this session. Thank you so much, viewers. We hope that the session helped you with all the information regarding the advance in pacemaker, and we at B.M. Birla Heart Research Center here to help you. If you need any information related heart or want to book any appointment, kindly call us at 033 4088 4088. Now we are about to end our live session. Thank you so much once again, sir, and thank you to our listeners. We wish to see you another live session. Till then, goodbye and take care of your heart in this COVID-19 pandemic. Stay healthy and stay safe. Thank you.
Thank you.